Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. It's a new week. Welcome to our show titled Speak of Africa. We have a lot of news for you. But before we begin, we want to say special thank you. We had some milestones. We achieved over 8 million views, uploads of over 400 videos. Thanks to you. We give credit to you for making this happen. Thank you very much. But we cannot rest on our laurels. Continue to share ideas with us. Share the show with more friends. Let us know what you need. We like when you comment. In fact, you are commenting a lot, and that is really helping us know what you think. We're engaging you, the youth of Africa. Thanks very, very much. We're going to continue with this conversation. Today, we're going to focus on good governance. What are the challenges Africa faces? Why can Africa not develop? Fundamentally, most of you have been saying inclusive governance is the problem. The politics of exclusion makes it impossible for us to have a fertile environment to develop our countries. And we can see this problem with the insecurity that is rife in a lot of countries in Africa. Much of you are just telling me that your governments have failed. The state is a failure. The governing method is not working. So Africa cannot develop. And we're going to start by looking at a whole lot. So let's even start from, say, Burkina Faso. A lot of challenges. Ibrahim Traoré is doing his best, as you guys can attest. He's a young person, but he's trying as much as possible to govern the country. Yet he has his critics who think he's a dictator, and they are criticizing him. They feel like he's exchanging one master for another. Before, the West was the master. Now the new master is Russia and North Korea. Is it fair game? But the people are focusing more on the governing indices. Like you have Mo Ibrahim organization. It focuses on governance index. What is going well, what is not going well. In the case of Burkina Faso, the rating is very, very low when we look at this index, and we know why. Okay? Even this week, there was propaganda but from some of these militant groups. Militant groups are really a menace. So long as you have a lot of these militant groups, it's really difficult to grow the economy. It's very difficult to have a cohesive society in Africa. So long as the militant groups are terrorists. They create a lot of havoc. Yet, the people who govern these African countries, they call themselves politicians, they create fertile environments for these militant groups to flourish. Okay? That's what is happening. You look at terrorists. Burkina Faso is rife with so many of them. They have taken over a big swath of the country. Ibrahim Traoré is basically struggling to try to get this territory back. And it's not easy. Now he has to spend a whole lot of money buying weapons just to fight these jihadists, religious fundamentalists. So it's not easy. And some of them were even claiming that they killed over 200 soldiers of Burkina Faso. Well, we've not been able to verify this claim. We don't know whether it's true. But the government of Ibrahim Traoré is saying the numbers are exaggerated. Maybe the real number should be like 6 or 10. Okay? Then what about Cameroon? Cameroon also is another case of where the state is failing. Today, we're preparing for May 20th, 2025. May 20th, 2025 is supposed to mark a day of unity. Cameroon wants to be known as a country of unity. But when you look at what has been happening during the last 10, 15 years, this is not a country that's united. You can see that Paul Biya, the aged leader of the country, has been systematically using ethnic divisions to foster his own agenda. He's not been trying to bring the people together as one people. But when he talks about national unity. National unity should not just be a slogan. It should be a way of doing things. It should be a way of thinking. It should be a philosophy. It should be an art. Okay? So we should not just be talking about unity, unity, just like a slogan. It should be a philosophy. It should be a science. So we have to look at all this stuff. It should be an art. This is what national unity should be. You cannot really have social cohesion if there's no national unity. Yet, these leaders are the ones dividing the people because they want to divide and rule. This is not good. 20th May, yes, this is a day of unity. But what are you celebrating when the country is divided? In the Anglophone areas, the people have been fighting for their sovereignty because they feel they've been marginalized. What have you done as a government to try to address this problem? Not much. It's like, let's just let them keep complaining and kill them. We don't care what they think. Is this good governance? We don't think so. This is not good governance. Soon, it will be October. New elections are coming. Paul Biya wants to be a candidate again. Now, you have people like Maurice Kamto, who are legitimate opposition candidates. He doesn't want them to run for office. He wants to monopolize the political space. That's what creates insecurity. That's what creates conflict. Okay? Now Maurice Kamto has decided to go to Europe to engage the Cameroon diaspora because he realizes that Biya is running away from the diaspora. So, what is going to give? Well, Robert Bougie, one of the connoisseurs who knows much about French politics in Africa, was saying that Cameroon is a powder cake because Biya has not really prepared for a successor. Things are not going to end well. The whole place is going to explode, and people are just waiting to see. Anything can happen in Cameroon. Trust me, it can happen because the environment is very, very volatile. Then when you look at the decadence of the country, you see heaps of dirt, trash everywhere. So it reminds you of The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born, a novel by Ayikwe Ame. The place is so corrupt. The people they don't even clean their own environment. So they have to sit and wait until Biya tells them to clean it, then they clean it. Come on, what a country. You have to wait for Paul Biya to tell you to clean. What are the mayors doing? So nobody cares. The trash can pile up, nobody cares. Let it keep piling. And sadly, you see trash very close to a hospital. That's what really makes me cry. So, oh, cry. You cry. Trash everywhere. In the days of Ahijo, things were not this way. I lived in the days of Ahijo. I saw it. So things have just gone from bad to worse. Okay? Yet, Mr. Biya and his gang, they want to run for office again. They want to run for office again. So when you look at this, you say to yourself, even with such bad governance, in the north of the country, there is jihadist activity. Okay? Why? Because this area has been abandoned. Since Biya came to power, he has been using the north of the country just for his own political gains. He doesn't make any effort to develop that area of the country. As a result, the area is rife with jihadist activity. When you talk of Boko Haram habitat is the extreme north of Cameroon. They take advantage of that area because it's like a no man's land. Okay? The area has been abandoned. Consequently, we have to pay the price. And the youth of today are sick and tired of this bad governance. But are they going to vote Mr. Biya again? It remains to be seen. Because we're going to see another sham election in October 2025. He's going to claim he has been elected by the people. But we know nobody elected him. He uses his military to force people to vote. Then he counts the vote himself. Most of the divisional officers and the guys who run the country, they are the ones who really stuff boxes with fake votes. Then at the end, Biya is the one who counts those votes himself. So you cannot say he did not win because he has to say, I won, because he's the one counting the votes. So it's really sad. Next, you also have Congo Brazzaville. Congo Brazzaville is another country where we have bad governance. Been in the country as a leader for too long, but he's just wasting the people's time because he doesn't do anything that can move the country forward. Talk about bad governance. That's a very good example. This week, we just got news that the opposition leading candidate, in Congo, Brazzaville has been, somebody said he has been kidnapped, not even arrested, he has been kidnapped. Who kidnapped him? They said people came in a vehicle. They just suspect that Denis Sassou Nguesso's boys are the ones who kidnapped this opposition guy. So when there is politics of exclusion, when you don't want other people to participate in the political process in your country, then you are sowing seeds for violence, insecurity in the country. And that's why you see that in Congo, Brazzaville, there's a whole lot of chaos going on because of the strong man, Denis Sassou Nguesso. Well, things are not better in Congo, Kinshasa. Okay? Felix Tshisekedi came. People had a lot of hopes that this guy is going to be a Christian. But he has spent so much time complaining about Joseph Kabila. Instead of looking for ways to move the country forward, create good governance, he's spending more time criticizing his predecessor. So is this good? We don't think that's good. It's really a waste of time. He spends so much time quarreling with Joseph Kabila or looking for problems left and right with Joseph Kabila. Oh, everything that is wrong in the country is Joseph Kabila. Instead of complaining, step down and let another person run the country. Felix Tshisekedi spends so much time just criticizing, complaining about the past. Okay? Joseph Kabila has done this, Joseph Kabila has done that, oh, M23 is Joseph Kabila, this is Joseph Kabila. Come on. This is commodity and l'enfantillage. Grow up. Run the country, Felix. If you know this is a big job, you cannot handle it, you cannot stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, boy. Okay? Then we take you now to Gabon. In Gabon, you really see a place where bad governance has taken place and people have been forced to organize a coup d'etat. But the good news in Gabon is Brice Oligui Nguema, as a result of a lot of lobbying from Paul Biya and other head of states of the Central African region, has decided to release Ali Bongo with his family. Now they have traveled to Angola. That's going to be their temporary home. Well, they said temporary. It may turn out to be their final destination. We don't know yet. But right now, as we tell you, Ali Bongo and his family have left Gabon. They are now in Angola. The Angolan president sent a plane to pick them up at night, and they have landed safely. So after a lot of protests, Oligui Nguema Brice chose the right time to send them out. He made sure that he won the re-election. He had everything tied. Then now he kicked them out. So the Gabon, as you know it, as a country, Gabon is an oil-rich country. Yet a lot of the people are poor. The family of Ali Bongo, starting with the father, has usurped all the wealth of that country. They've built palaces in France. All the money is in Swiss bank accounts. Yet the people stay in poverty. So it is just by a stroke of luck that Macron decided, okay, Ali Bongo, you are no longer really serving the interests of Francafrique. We are just afraid that one of those guys in the Sahel may take over and make things tough for us. We're going to topple you ourselves, the way we do it in France. We're going to kick you out. We're going to bring one of our boys to take you out so that we can keep Gabon under French influence. We don't want Gabon to fall into Russian hands or into North Korean hands. Okay? So that's what happened. Then the French organized a coup d'etat against Ali Bongo. His wife was basically rubber-stamping all decisions in the country. Ali Bongo has been sick, so his wife was the one running the country. The people knew it. And it's the same thing that is happening now in La République du Cameroon. Cameroonians know that Paul Biya is not the one running the country. So they are just waiting for the perfect time to strike. So Cameroon is really ripe for a coup d'etat. And we can tell you this, a coup d'etat will take place in La République du Cameroon in no time. Because all the conditions are set. The same thing that happened in Gabon, where a wife was running the country using a few of her relatives. That's exactly what Chantal Biya is doing in La République du Cameroon. Moi-même, je peux gouverner le Cameroun. Mais tu gouvernes le Cameroun déjà, parce que ton mari est malade. C'est toi qui gouvernes. On sait. On sait que c'est toi. We know that you are the one running the country. So Chantal Biya is the one running the country because Paul Biya is vegetable, pretty much. So the wife is the one running the country. They are just using Paul Biya as a figurehead. But if he covers his eyes, the challenge to the rule is going to come up, and it's not going to be funny. Already, Paul Biya is using his wife, is trying to create an environment where there will be some form of succession, but it's opaque. As the news of this succession plan started leaking out, they went back to the drawing board to see how they can change things again. So it's like Paul Biya is going to win the election in October 2025. Then he will hand over power to a handpicked successor. Then he can retire into the sunset. So this is the way the play has been written. But it has not been finalized yet. It is still a work in progress. It's not a masterpiece. But we know that a lot of things can go wrong. A lot of things can go wrong. No matter how you plan, the same man proposes, God disposes. As much as Chantal and her gang are planning the post-Biya era, there may be some unforeseen circumstances. So surprises always take place. Look at what happened in Zimbabwe. Grace Mugabe thought she's going to take over from the husband, right? But things not really end that way. So you can plan, but God always has other plans. So we are really worried about Cameroon. Robert Bougie said it too. So Cameroon is a powder cake. It may explode at any time. Okay? So Robert Bougie is the guy who has been at the Élysée, the French palace. So he knows all the politics. He knows how the deals are done. So I know everything. He knows everything. Yes, that's true. He knows everything. Then Libya. Libya also is a very sad case because we see a country that had a lot of promise, but the country collapsed, not because of the fault of the country, but because of foreign intervention. France has been stealing the resources of this country. Gaddafi has been bankrolling France. It got to a point where France became uncomfortable, especially Sarkozy. He did not like to be exposed, so he decided to get rid of Gaddafi. Then he just used NATO and the United States as proxies. But this is a joke. Since then, the problem of insecurity and militant groups has exacerbated in this part of the world. Without the downfall of Gaddafi, arms proliferation would not have been at the state in which it is today. But things are so bad because of the overthrow of Gaddafi. Gaddafi had a lot of these weapons. Now the weapons are in the hands of non-state actors, terrible people, and which is why the security situation deteriorated immediately after the downfall of Gaddafi. The whole Sahel area is really suffering because of the downfall of Gaddafi. All those weapons are in the hands of bad elements. So insecurity will continue because from what we gathered, a lot of the arms that are used in Africa did not really come from like Europe. They are really from Africa. So most of those arms came after the overthrow of Gaddafi. Okay? And you can see people protesting in Libya because they don't like what they see. They want a return to good governance. A return to good governance. Okay? Then we take you now to Nigeria. Nigeria is a big country with a lot of resources. The other day, Ibrahim Traore was saying he was shocked to find out that Qatar is richer than Nigeria, but Nigeria produces more oil. It's because in Nigeria, you have a lot of thieves. It's a kleptocracy. When you look at a guy like Bola Tinubu, he's a kleptocrat. He's presiding over the looting of a big cake of the country. Today, we hear Bola Tinubu is in Italy visiting the Pope. The country is beset by so stay home and try to take care of these security challenges. That's the question a lot of Nigerians are asking me. And I'm throwing it back at you. Bola Tinubu should have stayed home to tackle these security challenges because a lot of people have been killed, bombings and all that stuff. Yet, he has flown to the Vatican to meet the Pope. The Pope also, when you invite unscrupulous figures such as Bola Tinubu to the Vatican, you create the semblance of collaboration. It means you are collaborating with these people who are doing bad things to poor people. So you start losing your moral authority. I'm a Catholic, but I think the Pope loses his moral authority when he starts inviting elements such as Bola Tinubu to the Vatican. These people who are committing crimes, insecurity. What has Bola Tinubu done to stem the tide of insecurity? Not much. What about good governance? Well, he's in the process of turning Nigeria into a one-party state. We've been talking about this. He's engineering the collapse of other parties so that APC should be the only party so that that can guarantee his re-election in 2027. That's all he cares about. Akpabio and all those his cronies are there working the machine to make sure that everything is done in preparation for 2027. But you think that insecurity, which is an urgent problem, should be tackled first. Nobody cares about insecurity. But we just hear that an APC chieftain was also kidnapped and killed. So is this going to make these people to start paying attention to good governance? Yes or no? It looks like they have a very callous attitude. They don't care. And that's the sad thing. Then what about Somalia? Oh, Somalia, since the overthrow of Siad Barre, Somalia has not known any peace. Somalia has been a failed state for so long. But today, we draw your attention to a serious suicide bombing. Suicide bombers went to a recruiting station where young people wanted to be recruited into the Somalian army, and they detonated their bomb. So many people were killed. You can see even the cars, all ravaged. Okay? So Somalia has not known peace. You think that this is a country, a young country. After independence, the young Somalians had a lot of hope for their country. But all these hopes have been dashed. Since the overthrow of Siad Barre, one problem after another, this country has been in crisis after crisis. So we don't like what we see in Somalia. But things are not better even in Tanzania. In Tanzania, we used to have John Magufuli. We're really happy that we had a leader who was transparent. Before, contracts between China and African countries were opaque. But for the first time, Magufuli decided not to be signing those opaque contracts. He started making them transparent. And the people like him for that. But somebody took him out. We know it was a hit, because whenever a leader is doing good things for his people, these people don't always like that. They always look for ways to take them out. And that's basically what happened. And now we have Miss Hassan. Miss Hassan is a successor of John Magufuli. But we don't think we like her governing style. She's very dictatorial. She's a lady, so some people were thinking that as a lady, she will be more of a mother, she'll be very conciliatory, she'll bring different parties together to dialogue. No. She is a dictator. Even the Chedima party, which is the big party of the opposition, she has banned that party. She doesn't want them to run for election. She doesn't want them to participate in the presidential election. So what kind of stuff is this? So this is what sows the seed of division, chaos, and insecurity in an African country. When you make it impossible for other people to participate in the political process, then they resort to violence or any other method necessary. And that's what is really happening. So it's really sad. So we've pinpointed most of the countries where we have bad governance in Africa. The youth is looking for good governance. The AU, the African Unity Organization, should even be helping us towards good governance. But we cannot move that way because this is a weak organization. It's like a dictator's club. It cannot do much. It doesn't have any teeth, so it cannot bite. So you ask me, What do you think probably should be a solution to bad governance in Africa? Well, we have to recognize that our ancestors are angry. They are angry with the way our leaders have connived with the foreign guys to steal Africa's resources and keep Africa poor. So what should be done about it? Okay, we have some ideas. We've always thought that the state as a form is not tenable in Africa because we are taking a Western invention, democracy from America. It cannot work in Nigeria. No. We have to adapt it to our own methods. Any rule or system of government in China cannot work in Africa. We have to adapt to our own realities on the ground. That's what we need to do. Winner takes it all is not working, as we've seen. But we think the first structure is the nation state. It needs to go. It needs a total makeover because it's a colonial construct. We want to get rid of the nation state because the nation state basically is a structure where you have a president who is too powerful, who is a god. Then he is manipulated by colonial masters behind the scenes. Nobody can tell him anything. He has no checks on his power. The parliament is a rubber stamp. The judges do whatever he wants. And that's exactly what is happening in La République du Cameroon. It's a perfect example of a nation state that has failed. You look at the Ndewa issue. An American citizen has a problem with the ambassador, the Cameroon ambassador of France. Then the ambassador uses his political clout to throw this American citizen in jail. The American citizen is a professor with his wife in the university in Yaoundé. But they threw him in jail because of a problem with a lease. The ambassador is leasing his house to this professor. But because there's a conflict involving the lease, you use your power as an ambassador to tell the corrupt politicians to put this guy in jail. And America doesn't like this. And you look at, they have told Biya in uncertain terms, this is not justice. So that's the fundamental problem in most of these banana republics. There's no rule of law. So if Africa has to emerge, we have to have the rule of law. Everybody is equal under the law. You cannot take the law into your own hands, the way it happened in this case with Magnus Ekumu, the Cameroon ambassador to France, who used his clout to imprison somebody who is doing business with him. Come on. This is not fair. This is like the world of a jungle. So we need the rule of law. Without the rule of law, we cannot really have a tenable system. So this is not good. And we think we're drawing attention to Cameroon as an example of a place where there is injustice. Justice should be blind. Justice should be allowed to follow its course. But no, everything is always teleguided from the presidency of the republic. He can decide who wins a case or who loses a case. Is that justice? No. It's just like a kangaroo court. And that's what we see in La République du Cameroon. Then what can we do? We have to start by having stuff where there's a rule of law. So the rule of law is sacrosanct. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Do you need tax preparation services? We can help. Contact PJ Tax Service, America's only full-time income tax preparers. Like the good old doctor, we do not close our doors after April 15th. In fact, we stay open all year round in order to serve you. We are located at 11207A, Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Make an appointment today with Prince Ojong, your tax expert. Call 240-350-1131 or visit us on the web at www.pjtaxservice.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.